What's up? You guys haven't seen me in a minute. Welcome to another episode here on Winject Studios. I am so stoked to be back. It's been a minute. I think it was December 20th or something since the last time I was here. We're already up in January. So I am super stoked to be back. I missed you. I hope you guys had a great holiday, a great start to your new year. I say Happy New Year to Chris. He's like, you're late, girlfriend, but it's been a minute, right? I am Neena Perez. This is Straight Talk, No Sugar Added. I am so freaking glad you are here with me. And I really love the way you guys have been interacting with me and leaving me messages and DMing me and all of that stuff. And my community is growing. And that is what I wanted to see. I am stoked. This is my 51st episode here on a live at Winject. Hey, Chris. You got any regrets yet? Because I'm still hanging in there. You probably thought this Puerto Rico is gonna be gone after like 3 episodes. I am 51 episodes in as a live here on Winject, and I am stoked. So make sure that you go ahead and smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe here to Winject. I want to make sure that you get all of these amazing shows that are out here, all of these amazing content creators. It is really freaking awesome. So if you don't know about it, go on to winject.com/register. Get on there, register your account for free, and take a look at what's going on back there. You won't see everything unless you're a content creator and are really like diving in to build your community. But I promise you, you're going to see some stuff you've never seen before. Make sure you get on there. And if you want to be part of my community, it's winject.com/group/Neena Perez. So make sure that you go. Lauren, what's up? What's up, Lauren? What's that? Haha, never going to be sick of you. Good, because I'm sticking around, bud. I'm sticking around. So anyway, I am so glad to be here. So I want to make sure that you go ahead and do that. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you go on to Winject. Make sure you do all of that. Why do I always start with that? Because this community has been amazing. Chris has been amazing to me. He's been like a mentor. He has really poured into my life. And I hope I have given him value as well. And it has been amazing to be connected with a lot of different people that I've met on Winject, all of these content creators. And it has been really, transformational in your way that you think, in the way that you do your work and your business and what you put out there, right? Because we're broadcasters. When you are a podcaster, you are basically in radio, you are broadcasting. And it is awesome to be around geniuses like those who are on Winject. So make sure you get on there, okay? Make sure you are missing out, I promise you. So before I get started, Chris, I didn't tell you this either, but before I get started, I want to give a big shout out to my son, 94 the Genius. He won many rounds last night at a beat battle. He is a music engineer and he is phenomenal at what he does. He has been doing it for, 10, 15 years. He's a young guy, but he knows exactly what he's doing. And his brain just thinks out the box and thinks completely differently. And I love that. So he won a few rounds and I wanted to give him a big shout out. So shout out to you, babes. Shout out to you. Good job. So let's start the show, right? So I do something every year where I contemplate what I did last year. I always look back and say, what did I do in 2022? What can I take from 2022, right? How can I then bring that in the new information into 2023 or into the new year, whatever new year that is, to transform the way I think, right? And as I was sitting there contemplating and praying and spending time with God and doing all of that, I realized that my word of the year this year is going to be transformation. Transformation is my word this year. Last year it was juggernaut. So I went through a lot of hard issues, a lot of hard things, changed the way I was doing things, and that's what I did. What's that, Chris? I see that you posted something. Put it up. That's hilarious. I meant to also share, we built out his community on Winject as well. Right. 94. Winject.com/courses/94 the Genius. That's right. He is a part of Winject as well and has like a bunch of sample of his work there. And it is even blown out beyond that. It is absolutely phenomenal. Please be a part of Winject. Don't miss that. Okay. Don't miss out. Honestly, I'm not just saying it. I'm telling you, I've been with them for over a year, maybe going on 2. Is it really? So just want to let you guys know that it has been a blessing in my life. So just letting you know that. All right. So transformation, guys. Transformation is my word for the year. I don't know if you guys remember when we talked about the neuroplasticity of our brain and the fact that it enables you to like change your behavior and your learning, your memory, based on all the experiences, the map that you use to get to where you are today, right? And so some of us have built our minds to be like afraid of things that can change you, afraid of obedience. What's that? Yes, beta test was 18 months. Wow. So it's been 2 years. Yeah, because I remember it being like a January, February thing. I can't believe it. That's crazy. So some of us have built our minds to be afraid of a lot of things, right? And the things that we're afraid of are the things that we should be looking at. So we get afraid of a commitment, we get afraid of discipline, we get afraid of obedience, right? Except that we are building our minds to not be afraid of negative mindsets, self-pity, victim mentality, shame, unforgiveness, those kind of behaviors that keep you stuck, right? That keep you not going exactly where you want to go. Like you may still be successful, you just may not be as successful as you really want to be, right? And so we sometimes get stuck and committed to the negative stuff. So we get committed to the things that we have tons of excuses for. Now, I've been coaching for some time. I didn't call myself a coach at first. I wasn't sure if that was what I wanted to call myself. I figured at this point, that's what I'm going to call myself because that's what everybody's calling me, especially those who I am, I guess, talking to, coaching, mentoring, whatever you want to call it. And I've been coaching for some time now, and I've helped many, many women transcend their mindset and to really go on to do the things that they really wanted to do. And I am super proud of the work that I have done. And I have realized for myself anyway, this last year, as I told you, I was taking things apart and breaking things down and seeing how I can improve, what I failed on, what the feedback was, all that great stuff. And I realized that I didn't get to where I am today just by thinking strong, right? I had to do a lot of inner work, a lot of things inside of me to change and transform the way I'm thinking, right? And that then had me start to build a business of transformation for this new year. And I realized that a lot of us are going through that. I think 2023, or at least a new start to a new year, always makes you kind of pause and think about what it is you want to do, right? And so I really thought about this, especially working with my coaches. I have multiple coaches. And the reason I have multiple coaches because I really believe in investing in myself and I believe in investing in others. And the only way to really do that is to be authentic with who you really are. Think about what you've gone through in life and think about how that you can utilize all of that, right? Because I mean, if you're one of those people who just reads a book and tries to go out there and transform a life, you're full of shit. Sorry, didn't mean to curse, but that you're full of it, right? So stop trying to read a book and then trying to go out there and transform somebody's life. It's not authentic. It's not real. You just need to be who you really are, right? So I started to think about that. And especially as I was working through it with my coach, because I was like, what am I building here? What is it that I want? What is my legacy? How do I want to transform lives? What is it that I want to do? So I started to work with my coach and building out modules for this big platform that I'm creating. It's going to take a while to fully, actualize it. But for just in the first model alone, just in the first model of this platform, you will start to experience that true transformation, especially women, because that's what I work with, right? So, hey, how are you? How are you, my brother? I love you too. Um, it's my brother Red. He says, "Hey sis, got to jump on a call, but wanted to show you some support. You are awesome. Here's to a new year. You are awesome. I love you. Thank you for doing that. That's so cool." Um, and I thought for a long and hard time about exactly what it is I want to do and who I want to work with. What is it? It's so powerful to only work with people you really want to work with and to have a team you really want to grow with, right? It's interesting because hey Jay, what's up? What's up? That's awesome. You have several coaches, right? It is important, Jay. It is. And because I know that for many years I had a very, very victim mentality, a very an excuse mentality of not moving forward in my life. And when I got into personal development about 15-20 years ago, I started to realize that you had to do this. You had to get into coaching or counseling or something to help you move forward. And as I started to get coaches, then I started to get certified in coaching. So I got my NLP and my NLP master practitioner, and then I got my my life coaching, and then positive intelligence coaching and or certifications. And I did that on purpose because I realized that I needed to work on not just me, but what am I going to do with all that information? I need to transform lives. And I really thought about that long and hard about exactly what it is I want to work with, who I want to help, what I want to do. Like, what do I want to? I don't want to just work with anybody. I only want to empower self led, heart centered women who want to transcend their shame and master their game, because I want them to be confident, to self actualize their true potential, and to create that life and business that they always wanted. That is it in a nutshell, right? Because I was doing a lot of different things, and I realized that I was, working on people's businesses or strategizing or thinking about concepts and ways to implement those concepts. And we talked about I talked to nonprofits. I talked to a lot of different things, but I realized that there's a lot that has to go on in here first. You really have to start transcending and changing who you are from the inside, so you can self-actualize what it is that you want to create, right? So I are in these modules, which, believe me, it is so transformative even to me as I was doing it, because I'm going to be discussing inner healing, belief systems, emotions, reconnecting with your true self. And I realized that I was looking at this whole coaching thing the whole wrong way. And I was starting to just start with the business aspect of it. Let's just be a business coach. Let's go and strategize and talk about performance and all of that. And that's all good, because I've actually been pretty successful at that. I have my clients love me. I love them. It's all going fine. But I realized that I had to do some soul searching. So while I was soul searching and praying and doing some healing on myself and doing some breath work and all that, I realized that my success did not start with creating a really great business or growing exponentially in my career or in my education. But my success started with transforming and repairing my soul, in my spirit, who I am, connecting with God and becoming vulnerable, ready for change, actually putting my shiznick out there. That's how I started to change. And that's what I realized, that working with my coach, that I was trying to avoid that. I was trying to avoid that part of me. I didn't really want to go there, because I actually didn't think people were interested in like healing that part of them that they've been trying to avoid forever and ever. And I was wrong. I was really wrong. And I had to apologize to a lot of people for that, because they kept trying to dig in that. And I was like, oh, that, yeah, let me refer you to this, or let me like give you that. And I realized that I should have been starting with that, starting with the soul first. And it's funny, because when I started to take all of my time here on Winject and in my podcast and everything, I always talk about transforming your mind, your heart, your soul, your mindset, all of that, not being a victim and all of that. But when it came to the coaching aspect of it, I was talking business, strategizing, all of that stuff. But why not the two? Right? This program that I'm building out right now should have been out a long time ago, and helping people at a larger scale, right? Like my book did. When I launched my book, I was afraid of what the reaction was going to be, because it's a very raw, real, in your face book. Because it's my autobiography and it tells you all I have been through. And I had a tremendous amount of feedback and you know, uh transformation in other people's lives to the book and to the content that I was putting out. And I realized how much I have been impacting lives through my story, through my journey, my transformation, and my expertise, my experience, all of it. And when you as a business owner, who's a content creator, whatever, just always realize that people are attracted to you, not necessarily all of your content, but what you're putting out as a human, as a person, right? So just in this first module alone, we are really going to set the foundation of transformation in your life and in your business, right? Because everything that you do in your life does transcend to your business. And I'm here every step of the way with these women. They are not alone. You're not alone. I got you, right? So I created this, and I started to think about my methodology and what I wanted to do, how I wanted to get through this, right? And that's why we're going to be talking about this inner healing and this transformation and transcending your unwanted behaviors. I'm still working on that too, on a lot of aspects of my life. So this is not only going to help my clients, it's going to help me. I want to identify these gaps that we have in our life, right? And to create that roadmap that we need, that step by step in our brain, right? In the neural pathways and in our life, and an actual pattern in life that we could start to build, that we want to see, that we desire, that we want to manifest into this life, that we want to see come to fruition, right? And I really believe it is time for us to master that game, right? To master that and then transcend anything that we have gone through in our life, especially when it comes to that ugly word, shame, right? And shame was one of the things I think that where I had to start. Toxic shame in my life was really impacting me, right? And as a lot of you know my story. I have a lot of shame that have come through since I was a child, since I was a little one, right? Rejected by my father, abused by my stepfather, molested. I've been, raped and beaten and homeless and had a child at 15 years old. I've had a lot of things to carry in my life, a lot of shame that I carried in my life. And, I was reading psychology today where it says shame is one of those emotions that we will do anything to avoid. And boy, is that true. Now, when I used to feel a lot of shame in my life, it used to take my breath away, right? It used to give me like a warm feeling I didn't like this, like I just used to get nauseous, right? I just wanted to like disappear and hope that nobody saw, right? And we will do that. We will shame other people. We will, do anything to escape it. We will act like big tough guys, and we got this, and blah blah blah. And inside, we are feeling alone. We are feeling isolated, right? We want to vanish, but we are not going to show you that because we're strong. And so we'll use other methods, right? Some of us will take drugs, some of us will drink, some of us will stuff our faces. That was my problem, right? Is I didn't stuff my face, but sugar was my drug, right? Even since I was a little child, that's what made me feel better when I was a child. And that is something that even now as an adult, I contend with, because now my brain has built that as a pattern, that if I'm uncomfortable or I feel shame or I'm upset, I want to run to like a chocolate bar, right? And so we have to talk about what that really means in our life, and what are we doing that maybe we're not even associating. Because believe it or not, I used to be a perfectionist. Believe it or not, of course you believe it, but a perfectionist does the same. A perfectionist is because they're trying to hide something, right? So you have to be perfect all the time. That's how I was. I had to be perfect content, perfect, perfect job, perfect position, perfect manager, perfect director, perfect all the time. Even in school, I had to have that 4.5. I didn't have that 4.5. I was on the corner crying because I got a 99 instead of 100. There's something wrong with that, right? And it was that shame. It was that shame that came in and made you feel like you just weren't good enough if you didn't do this, if you didn't actualize this, if you didn't have 100% of this, right? And I don't know if any of you can relate to that, but I hope that it relates a little bit, because if there's anything that I want, is for you to look at it and really deal with this, because I want you to master that shame in your life, whatever that is. And you might not even want to know or see it, right? But I want you to explore it anyway, right? So let me coach you just a little bit right now. How do you explore this? Right? Explore why you feel shame. Like, who the hell wants to explore that? You have to. You have to get to the root and the core of what is going on here. What happened that made you feel shame, right? When I started to think about these questions that I had to ask myself and ask my clients, what happened to make me feel shame? Well, I was molested. I've been molested. I've been raped. I've been beaten. I've been told I wasn't going to amount to anything, right? I was called stupid by my first grade teacher. That was with me for a very long time. Do you know why? I was little. I was rejected. I was taken from my mother's house to my grandmother's house to mother's house, mother's. I think I did first grade in in three different times, like it's school. I think I stayed back and then I had to do it again. I did half a year in my mother's house at one school, half a year in my grandmother's house at one school. I failed. I had to do another year in my grandmother's house, and back and forth, right? That made me feel so ashamed, because the teacher said to me, I couldn't get a problem she was trying to show me, and I just couldn't understand what she was saying. Although now I know I have ADHD, right? So I always have to like pause myself and say, okay, Neen, you can't just see things the way other people see things. But when you're 6 and you've been rejected and you've been feeling unwanted and unloved, and you have been back and forth to different schools, so you're not really making those friends, and somebody says to you, your teacher, somebody you look up to, looks at you and say, are you stupid? Wow. Right? That shame stayed with me for a very long time. And because of that shame, I became a perfectionist, right? And then I also thought that I was stupid, having sex at 13, pregnant at 14, a child at 15 years old, being beaten almost on a daily basis by my son's father, almost murdered with a gun to my head. He pulled the trigger, and I'm only here because of God. Okay. But it was like thing after thing, having abortions and beaten and abortions, and then going, finding another relationship, getting married, having him leave me for a slimmer, younger model, right? You want to talk about carrying shame? There's a lot of it. And all of us have a story. And I want you to explore what happened that made you feel shame in your life. Why do you feel that? And I want you to sit in that for a minute. What does those events or that event or those series of events, right? Like in my case, what does that say about you? I used to think that it said I'm a loser. I'm a statistic, right? Being Latina, I'm a statistic. I deserve it because not even my father wanted me, right? So you go through all of these things. So what does this series of events say about you, right? And then I want you to pause after you get those. If you're writing these down, the other one is that a reasonable interpretation on my part, on your part? Is it a reasonable interpretation that I am a loser, that nobody wanted me, that I was stupid, that I was, all those things that were done and said against me? Is it reasonable to interpret that those things are true? Right? I think some, yes, because you say, oh, is it reasonable for me to think that I'm stupid, that I'm worthless, that, I don't got this, is it reasonable? Well, I mean, with all of those things coming against you, it probably is a reasonable interpretation, but are you maybe being a little too hard on yourself? Are you being hard on yourself? We've all gone through things, right? So what does those event of series that happened in your life, the stuff that really shamed you, the stuff that came upon you, what does that say about you? What do you think it says about you? And is it reasonable to interpret that, right? Is it reasonable? Are you being too hard on yourself maybe? Is it possible that you didn't even do anything wrong? How about that? Right? Good morning, Dominique. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Right? Shame. Yes. Thank you, Chris. Yes. Shame is a terrible thing. Necessary, but terrible. It gives us permission to be human, and it tells us of our limits. Keep us in our human boundaries, letting us know that we can and will make mistakes, and that we need help. Exactly. Because there is two types of shame, Chris. There's that shame where somebody has done something to you and you've taken it on as your shame. And then there's that shame that you have done yourself and that's supposed to transform you, right? If you do something that's wrong and it shames you, then you're supposed to change your behavior to move forward. I love that too, Dom. So I want you to think about that. Be honest with yourself. Okay? Be honest with yourself. And if you love and trust someone, be honest with them too. Life can be tough, guys. And there's a lot of things in our life that we are just not honest about, right? The truth might be that you don't love your life right now, that you want to see something different, that maybe you're unhappy with your spouse or your kids, that maybe you prefer that you didn't have the kids in the house. Maybe you prefer them to be out and you want to be on an island somewhere, right? Maybe you're not happy with your career, what you chose to build. Maybe you're not happy with your business. Maybe you're not happy with some of your relationships. What is the truth? The truth is, though, I want you to dig deep inside of you and to pull out the truth of who you are and not be afraid of it, right? A simple truth or confession, if you will, of truth can give that exposure to that shame that you're carrying. The more that you hide it, the more it intensifies, the more it goes into to try to destroy you. Bring it into the light, and the energy that you provide to it will dissipate it. So if you provide good energy, good thoughts, you start to change your mind and you start to really go into deep places to try to destroy this bad boy, it will be destroyed. Okay? Because like I said to you, all of those things that I have been through in my life, all of those things that I just said, and that was a touch of what I've been through. Okay? It's all in my book, but a touch of what I've been through. And I've carried that shame for so long of feeling unwanted, unworthy, stupid, not worth anything, a statistic, you ain't gonna amount to nothing, all that crap. And they were right. And what I mean by they, I mean my mindset was right because I didn't amount to what I wanted to, because I let those belief systems be the real thing, and it is not freaking real. Because guilt is and shame are two different things, right? So guilt is that thing of I did something bad, and shame is I am bad. And that's where I had to transcend what I was thinking about myself, because you have to transcend and transform who you are. It's time to transform your life. This is a new year. You are not promised tomorrow. You are lucky to be here today. Stop effing wasting your time. Okay, let's get down to the bottom and the nitty gritties of transforming who we are for real, for real. It is time to transform. Start to be present with who you are and be authentic with who you are. Understand that nothing that you start is going to be perfect. You are going to run into a lot of bull crap, and that is just the way it is. And even within you, you're going to pull out stuff like, ew, I hate that I did that. You know how many times I have judged people, and then I'm wrong, like really wrong, when I've given them a chance. And then I realize, damn, I hate that. I hate that I did that. Right? So I have to change that behavior, and I have. But once you start moving, you're going to combat a lot of fears. That's going to come back in. All of that shame and ugliness and you feeling like you're not good enough. All that stuff is coming back. I promise you. But I also know that you can get through it. Don't overthink it. All right. Just let it all come to you and just live in it. Be present. Breathe through it. Write it down, because you will see that this time you are going to transform and transcend those unwanted behaviors, because it is time to transform your life now, not later, not tomorrow, because tomorrow's not promised. Do that shit today. Okay. Write it down. Be present. Understand that you are not going to get it right. Keep moving forward, right? Hello, my love. He's so cute. Yeah, there's a great book I read by I love John Bradshaw. Oh my God, I'm reading his book right now, Healing the Shame That Binds You. It is such a good book, Chris. I'm so glad you brought that up, because I was going to bring it up, and I'm glad you did. John Bradshaw is freaking awesome. Love all his books. I have it. I'm actually in the middle of reading that. So funny. So if you have anything that you want to talk to me about, anything you want to throw at me, what's that? He talks about healthy shame. Yeah. It's a psychological foundation of humility, and it is a source of spirituality. Exactly. And you know what's so cool, Chris, is that I've learned that in my life, because life has been my best life coach. And I have learned that in my life. And when I read that, I realized, what am I doing? Why am I holding back from things that I can really be transforming people's life with, when I do it anyway, like behind the scenes? But I want to make sure that I transform people's lives. How do you do that? By really being authentic with who you really are and reaching in and pulling that out, so that you can start to really transform your life and the life of people who are listening, watching, knowing what you do, reading what you wrote, all of that, right? So start transforming your life. No more BS, no more sitting to the sidelines, no more just waiting. What are we doing? Be present. Be understanding of you. Have yourself some grace. Combat that fear. It is coming. It is coming. Combat that fear. Stop overthinking things, okay? Write them down. It is time. This year, my word, transformation. I hope you get a word. Now, if you have anything you want to talk to me about or anything like that, or you want to work with me, whatever it is, it's hello@straighttalknosugaraddict.com. But all of you who have joined me here today, you are the freaking bomb.com, for real. Now, make sure you get onto winject.com/register. Register your ass for free. Okay. Nobody's even charging you. Just register for free. Or Neena Perez/groups. Nope. Winject.com/groups/Neena Perez. Get on there. Okay. And get on my platform, because I've already written several ebooks. I've been working on this for like a year. several ebooks and classes and stuff and lives I want to start doing behind the scenes, not here, but behind the scenes at Winject. And I want you to be a part of that. So please make sure that you register. I'm not kidding. Okay. Winject.com/groups/Neena Perez, NEENAPEREZ, and join me there, because it is time, guys. It is time to transform our lives and transform the lives of others. I love you so much. This is Neena Perez, transforming your life in 2023. Until next time.